Last year he played 8 games injured, which is extremely difficult, but he showed his toughness, gained the respect of his teammates, his coaches, and everyone that watches that program. He shows every week that he belongs there, and he's somebody that can lead this football team. And this team will only go as far as Blaine Gabbert goes. What he showed today is that he is the unquestioned leader of this football team. 6'5", 230, people think that he's the traditional drop back guy, but people don't realize he's got 4.6 speed, so he can get out of trouble, makes throws on the run. Here he just sits in the pocket, and he can deliver that ball too, because the guy can make every throw. He's an NFL-type kid, and he's extraordinarily mobile, and he's very, very accurate.
And we start with that game in College Station and a Missouri team that is trying to stay undefeated. It's a big game for them.
Yeah, it is, guys. I mean, they're playing some good football right now after pitching their first shutout in 2 years last week against Colorado. This Missouri defense comes in and actually faces its first true test of the year. They haven't played a true offense this year. They're going to see one today. But Taylor Potts has thrown for a lot of yards, has had a good year by all standards. But Stephen Sheffield gives you an added dimension. With Missouri's defense being as fast as they are and those 2 outstanding defensive ends, how do you slow those guys down? You get a mobile quarterback. Because if you come with pressure, he can gash you, and that's what Sheffield might do today. K-State's going to get him the ball any way they can. And as Dave was saying, they're going to put him in the Wildcat, let him take direct snaps, and just run the ball. And, even he may throw one. He may fake a throw here and there, as you're seeing right here. Fake the old Tim Tebow jump pass. But swing passes, screens, straight running plays, they're going to get him the football. They'll even run the option and try to pitch it out to him, let him get on the corner. He's a tremendous football player with great speed.
You've had this turf toe thing, and you know what trying to play with a stretched ligament is like.
Turf toe is no joke, guys. For people who don't know, turf toe is basically the hyperextension of your big toe. So no matter what you do, how you're medicated, Advil, Toradol, whatever you want to do to shoot it up to ease the pain, that ligament's still stretched. So that affects your push-off. I played with it for 8 games my senior season. It is no joke. And I look at people and say, hey, I got turf toe, and they'd kind of laugh. And then you saw Deion Sanders sit out a whole season based on it. As a Texas fan, what are you thinking right now? This is an offense that still doesn't have an identity. You look at Garrett Gilbert, Gatorade Player of the Year. You bring him in, you think he's going to light it up. What was he doing at Lake Travis when he was Gatorade Player of the Year? He was running the same offense that Colt McCoy was running. He looked like a Colt McCoy clone, except he could run over people instead of just running around them. But at Texas, they decide they're going to go to a pro-style offense, put him under center, and run something that he's not familiar with. When do you make a decision to let the kid do what he's best at and let him go out there and play football? I don't get it. He's got a ton of weapons, but not only does he have weapons, he utilizes them so well. He delivers the ball. You see him step up in the pocket whenever he needs to. He makes every single throw. He's got a big arm. We knew that coming in. We didn't know how he'd handle pressure, but honestly, he takes it in stride. Look at that ball. You can't do that. You can't do it any better. You can't throw a ball any better than that. Comes back, does it again. His last touchdown pass of the day. He's a tremendous football player, guys. Those ends, Jacquez Smith and Alden Smith, get up the field. They're fast. They're strong. They're going to put pressure on the quarterback. And you've got 2 guys that can't throw it particularly well. You might have an issue. You got to look at this. And as listening to Mac Brown, listen to his comments, you got to think for a second that, maybe Texas just got beat by the better football team today. And that happens. And Baylor has, as we said before, Baylor has some athletes this year, and they can do some things. Kendall, Gordon, and Griffin, these guys are real football players. This isn't just a paper football club. These guys are actually very talented. Last week, Texas didn't show up against Iowa State. This week, even if they do show up, this team can beat them. This is a good football team at Baylor. That was incredible, guys. I've never seen anything like it. Yeah. I refer to you guys as the dumb side of the ball, and that's a heady play for a D-back.
You better think again.
For a D-back to go up, knowing he's going out of bounds and bat it back to his teammate. Incredible play. They do. And there's still enough talent on that football team for them to win. I think they're losing games up front. Both offensive line and defensive line aren't getting it done. It'll be interesting to see today how motivated these kids are and if they go in the tank. Like Coach Brown was saying, you got to be upbeat with them. You got to keep boosting them up. That's all fine and good, but these kids have to have some heart and have to go out, and they're playing at home again. Huge football game. Go out and win a football game for yourselves.
Today.
Hats off to their defense, though, guys. The Kansas defense, you hold a team to 6 points, you're supposed to win the ball game. That's brutal. On both quarterbacks' parts, you got to lead your team to a victory. The kicker, you got to make a field goal, guy. That hurts me. You have
You
one
hate
job.
kickers.
I always have. I'm sorry. I'm sorry, guys. I just have a thing against kickers. I
He
mean,
hates them when they miss.
Yeah, he loves it when they make.
I didn't have one that made it, so I spent I got a lot of hate in my heart.
You know, this
It
is
should have been a co-coach of the year. You look at 10-win season for Gary Pinkel in Missouri, off what would have been a rebuilding year, much like Oklahoma State, or what was projected as a rebuilding year. Great job, Gary Pinkel. I think you're a co-coach of the year. He's 6'4", he can sit in the pocket, he can throw it. What nobody's talking about is the two defenses that he's played against. He's played against Kansas and Texas Tech. Neither of those teams are exactly the mecca of defensive football. So today, he's going to face an OU team that's going to put some pressure on him. Let's see how he is when he has to actually make some tough decisions. It's great to see Blaine do what he did today, coming back off the worst performance of his career. Last week, he accounted for only 115 yards, completed 40% of his passes, no TDs. Today, the polar opposite. He accounts for almost 300 yards of offense, 3 TDs, 1 pick. I mean, the pick was just a tip ball, not a big deal, didn't cost him anything. You see how he throws a great deep ball there. This is what he did all day. If he sits in the pocket, he can deliver the ball pretty well.